new portal where you begin. Click around or dive right in. What's the first thing that you do? We're learning from the pros, sharing it with you. Set up secrets, come and see. What's the trick to HubSpot harmony? Tune in now, don't miss your cue. We're going live and saving spots for you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to HubSpot Setup Secrets, What Pros Do First. I'm Casey, and this series is all about answering one deceptively tricky question. What do you actually do first when you get into a new HubSpot portal? No two admins, ops pros, or HubSpot experts tackle it the same way, and that's exactly why I started this series. I've been inviting some smart folks from across the ecosystem to share what they look at first, what they skip, and what they've learned along the way. Today's guest is Margaret Long, and I cannot wait to hear her take. Whether you're brand new to HubSpot or knee-deep in portal cleanup, I hope this conversation gives you some fresh ideas and maybe even makes you feel a little less alone in the mess. Let's dive in. Hey, Margaret, how are you doing today?
Hey, Casey. Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Before we jump too far in, do you want to just give a little background on yourself, your HubSpot experience, things like that?
Yes. So I am currently with Penguin Strategies, an agency out of Israel, and I've been with them for 5 years and have worked in HubSpot in many different roles. Before that, I think I first started working in HubSpot in 2014. When it was literally just an email platform, and I've grown alongside with the HubSpot as it adds new features every day. So it's kind of fun to just like watch the evolution of it and be part of it.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy to think that it used to just be an email platform. And even my father-in-law actually recently was telling me he used HubSpot for email and like couldn't even believe that I had a whole career around like advising people on HubSpot. He was just like, how? Like, how, what do you do all day?
Yeah.
And now there are lots of things that I do. So
I love that.
The first question I usually like to start with is, why is the question, what do you do first in a HubSpot portal, so hard to answer? Why do people have different answers to this?
Well, because there's just so many options, right? If you've had HubSpot for more than 6 months, it's probably a mess already. There's probably workflows that are firing actions that you're not really sure what they're doing. There's probably more lists that you can manage at this point. There's probably 2 properties that hold the same information somewhere. And so it can get messy quickly if you don't put the right like data governance processes in place. And so there's a lot of different places you can start. That's what makes this. And I want to say it's really easy to feel like you need to boil the ocean. Like we've got so much going on and there's so many problems to tackle and we have to do all of them today. And just sort of this overwhelming feeling of like, how do I break this down into smaller bite-sized pieces? Because it feels so big when you're like jumping in for the first time.
Yeah, I like boiling the ocean. I like that. And I definitely agree. Like, I just got into a new portal a week or 2 ago, and I definitely was just like, I was like, where truly like, there are so many areas you can go in, and it can be difficult. So, well, what is the first thing you do when you're in a new portal?
So I first want to like really get under the hood, look around a little bit. The first thing I would want to look at are your life cycle stages updating correctly? Because that tends to be the thing that holds companies up. So if you've got, I would go and look at like how many leads or MQLs have been in that life cycle stage for more than 90 days. Mm-hmm. And if like people aren't moving through the funnel, or sales is telling me that they're getting, you know, you hear it all the time, like, oh yeah, marketing is sending us leads, but we don't really pay any attention to them because they're all junk. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, okay, either they're not junk or they are junk. And if they are junk, why are we labeling them as good when they're not good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just earlier today, I was talking to a client and she was saying basically sales keeps saying that the leads are junk. And she was like, but I go into the leads and like, they're good leads. Like she's like,
yeah. And that's a whole other can of worms, but yeah. And like, how are those life cycle stages being updated? Are there workflows that are behind them? Are they being automated? You know, how are they being automatically? Are they even being automated? Are they manually being updated? I've seen that before as well. Mm-hmm. So looking at how leads are moving through the funnel and where things are getting stuck, where things are sitting for too long, where you're letting junk through the filter. A lot of times I see that people will do like a lead scoring, and they'll do the lead scoring once and like set it and forget it. Mm-hmm. And then a year later, they're like, these are all junk. Why am I getting this? Well, you have to adjust your lead scoring every quarter, you know, because your customer changes, your content changes. Mm-hmm. The lead score is ever evolving.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. I have a lead scoring roundtable tomorrow that we'll talk about just
maybe
that. So you're going into the settings and looking at those life cycle stages and starting to kind of dig in there.
Yeah. And I also would say, like, do we have, what is an MQL? Is everybody in the company defining an MQL differently? Is it written down anywhere? Is there a data governance? Is there a dictionary of what, you know, how do people understand what constitutes an MQL? Mm-hmm. And that, you know, then that gets into training and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I had an old boss who she was previously an auditor for the government, and she had one like phrase that she lived and died by, which was document. And that was like very early in my career, and she was a mentor to me. And so that has like stayed with me my whole career, document. So making sure that you have a document somewhere that explains what is an SQL, how does it get, you know, what drives the scoring system, when do we consider somebody qualified to move to sales, that kind of thing. Having it all in black and white in print is crucial.
Yeah, I got really into creating HubSpot user guides. I guess last summer was when I like started like really being like, we need a user guide to HubSpot. I have this one client, HubSpot gotten passed down 100 times. And so I kind of I just went in and I was like, we are documenting everything, which workflow does what, you know, all those key, what the custom properties are and things like that.
Yeah.
So great.
And that actually leads me right into my next thing, which is about properties. So let's look at what are the key properties that are driving that lead score, and are they actually getting filled out? Oh, we've got all these contacts and we don't have a source or original. I like to create a custom property called original source, which is a little bit different than source. And it allows you to get more detailed. But if nobody fills it out, then forget it.
It's not doing anything. Yeah.
It's not doing anything. So like what I would do is like actually export that data, check for blanks, check for duplicates. You know, I saw somebody they had 3 fields. They had web address, website, and like URL. It was all company. What's this company's website? And so you've got 3 properties there showing the same data. So like, let's get those merged into one property.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then for me, like the really big one is our workflows creating chaos. So I hear it all the time. We're like, this lifecycle stage is updating, or this is triggering this email to go out, or this email is going out and we're not sure which workflow is triggering it. Like, and that just goes back to, so what I like to do is get in there, and I love to use the HubSpot folder system. I know like not a lot of people use it, but like being very clear, again, definitions. These are email nurture workflows. These are property update workflows. These are notification workflows, putting them all in buckets. Then let's go through them and see, starting with, are the ones that are turned off. I know people freak out when you talk about deleting stuff. Don't be a data hog. Get rid of it. Just be gone. And when you shut your laptop at the end of the day and you just deleted like 10 workflows, it's like, whew, it's like, cleaning out your closet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh God, I haven't worn that thing in 3 years. Why am I still holding on to it?
Mm-hmm. I say this a lot. I used to be a data hog. I remember doing a cleanup for a client pretty early in my career, and I think we were migrating from whatever their CRM was to HubSpot, and we were talking about what properties to keep and whatever. And I said, well, just keep them all. Why not? Why not just keep them all? There's some reasons why not. I mean, mostly like it just creates clutter and
confusion. It's scary to delete stuff, and you think somebody's going to come behind you and say, "Hey, I needed that." It's like, actually, you were never going to fit into those jeans again. Just like,
love that vision for you, but yeah,
you're just never going to.
Yeah. That's exactly, I think, how I felt at the time. Was like, yeah, what if we need those jeans again? What if, but in reality, by the time we might even consider those jeans again, they're so outdated. Like, we're doing bell bottoms.
Not even in style, even if they would fit.
Yeah. Or I guess skinny jeans are out now. But
I'm not gonna lie, I still listen to the jeans.
Yeah, I don't know how to wear anything other than skinny jeans.
I know. Problem. It's like, but I digress. And if one thing, if you're put all of them into I put them into a folder called workflows to delete or properties to delete, and have somebody else look at them. Be like, these jeans don't fit me anymore, right? I should get rid of them, right? And they're like, yeah, you should get rid of them. Then you feel like better. You're not just like going rogue and just deleting stuff on your own. What else was I going to say about that? So
sorry, I got you.
I know we got into the fashion stuff and the millennial stuff, and I got off track. Another thing about that is the naming. So once you feel like you've cleaned out your closets, you've got them organized into buckets in terms of what they're doing. Naming conventions, and I know nobody does this, but I'm going to be here to preach to you. Actually fill out the description. In the description, when that little annoying pop-up things and you click next, don't do that. Fill it out. Now they have the AI thing where they can populate it for you. The descriptions are sometimes a little weird, but again, document. What is this workflow? What is it doing? What's the filter? Have ChatGPT write it for you if you need to, because sometimes it's like, I don't want to like think about this. I just want to like do the thing. But when the next person comes behind you, or you're presenting this to management, you're going to want to be able to see like, these are all the workflows we have. You have to be able to justify why we have these workflows. And a year from now, you're not going to remember why that was there. So like, do it for your own sanity.
I was going to ask about, you said document. I was wondering about the description side. I really like the descriptions. I have not been a historic description filler outer, but the AI enrichment has helped a lot.
Same.
I agree with you that it's not always great, the description. I mean, I do feel like something is better than nothing. And usually it's like informed, at least.
It usually, for me, like nothing's worse than a blank sheet of paper, right? So at least there's something there on the screen that's like, actually, no, you ding dong AI, you got it all wrong. Let me fix it for you. And it's like very easy then, but instead of a blank, as opposed to a blank sheet of paper, which is just like, I don't know. Yeah, at least get you started.
I agree. And I have been encouraging my clients to not just immediately click approve of the AI description. Specifically, a lot of times it'll be like, when contact added to list 1257, then, and I'm like, that's not helpful. Like,
but at least then you can fill in the blanks.
But that's exactly. So like, just read through it and fill in those context blanks. And the important thing of doing that is everyone knows AI works, like learns. So the more you start doing that, you're actually teaching AI versus if you just accept added to list 1257, then AI's like, good, that was good. That's what they wanted. I nailed it.
Yeah, I was actually just gonna say, and if you look at like how much AI has learned in the last 6 months, it's one of those areas where I feel like this is gonna get way better as the AI gets better and learns more.
But you can help. Even you.
Yeah, and when it comes to like another thing, let me go back to the other piece we haven't talked about is the naming conventions in the top headline. Like, what kind of work, having a standard naming convention, using brackets and what are they called? These things.
Parentheses or
parentheses. Yeah. In a consistent manner so that like things stand out. When to use caps, when to use numbers, when to like version 1, version 2, test even. So we know anything labeled test, like don't publish. And that'll help you when you're doing your closet clean out too, is that you can easily eliminate things that were created just because somebody was monkeying around with it. And then from there, I would really look at like, what are the top 5 workflows that are causing errors? So if there's things that we know about, like this email is sending and we don't know which workflow is sending it, like let's nail down those like high priority, like this needs to be solved today issues, and kind of clean those up. And like, especially with stuff with like lead statuses too, like making sure that, just going back to the life cycle stages. And then in terms of sales, you're always going to hear like, are sales reps actually using HubSpot? Like, what is it that they're not using? Why do they not want to use it? If they're logging stuff offline on a spreadsheet, like why do they not trust? I think that's the biggest thing about HubSpot is like setting up a system that everybody trusts and see as something that it helps them do their job better. It shouldn't be a paperwork form that you have to fill out and it makes you feel like you're just shuffling papers all day. That gets in the way, especially if you're a salesperson. If it's something that keeps you from being on the phone with a sales lead, like gotta remove those obstacles as much as we can. Make it something and that's why I love using playbooks with the like click and go format, that you can, build something that works with you, not against you.
Yeah, the playbooks are very helpful. If your sales team is in HubSpot and you're not using playbooks, definitely check those out. They can they can go a long way as
I think it's worth the enterprise subscription just for that that playbook feature with the to be able to like click from a drop down instead of having to add data into the platform after your sales calls.
Do you have any advice or best practices around naming conventions? Do you have a preferred naming convention you like to follow, or does it vary?
I kind of vary it based on each customer and like how they think about what they're doing. I like to use brackets because like visually and like things in caps visually. One is like I like things to kind of be standardized so that when you're looking at the list, they all sort of look the same. The one thing that drives me crazy about HubSpot is the way that sometimes the names get cut off if you name something too long. So if you name something email workflow 1 and that's your standard naming, and then you like name it, welcome, nurture, whatever, the end of it gets cut off. So actually having the most detailed part of it toward the beginning is really important, and keeping that front part short.
So getting that differentiator kind of earlier in rather than having it all the way at the end.
Yeah.
And do you add dates to your naming convention? I've kind of recently been waffling on this. Okay.
You don't do that anymore? I'd love to hear why.
Dates are just so easily accessible other places. Like if I want to know which workflows were created in 2025, there's better filtering now for that.
Sure. Yeah.
And the same with lists and things like that.
Yeah. I can see that.
It's a fairly recent, which is why and like I said, I'm waffling on it, but I don't know if I'm just being a stick in the mud and used to my old ways.
Never.
So generally, just to circle back, so you're looking at life cycle stages, how those are set up, how they're like being filled out. You're looking at workflows, specifically like how much noise is in the workflows and trying to categorize those the best and document those the best you can. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
And then you're looking at naming conventions. Naming conventions in workflows across the board.
Starting with workflows. And then lists. I think naming convention for lists and folders for lists are also really important because lists can get out of hand so quickly. And one thing that I do is I have a standard I call it like Margaret working list, which is just if I want to run a filter and I don't want to like create a new list every time. If I'm just like, show me all the people that have joined today. I have a thing that I can go in and change the filters all the time, and I'm not creating a new list every time I go in there. And then if I do want to, I can clone it and save it as a new list.
I'll create templates, but having just one is probably better because if I create a bunch of, I'll put temp at the beginning, I'll do temp, and then sometimes I'll do CH, my initials. But the problem with that is sometimes I forget to go back and delete it when I'm done. So having a like single test working list is probably
it's like, this is Margaret's sandbox playground, don't touch it.
Just leave me alone. That is I like that. I think that's good. Do you have any advice on prioritizing workflows? There's a new portal I'm auditing that has 300 active workflows.
That's not unheard of, but it is daunting there.
Yes, correct.
I mean,
both of those were my feelings when I saw it.
Again, I would start by putting them in folders and categorizing them. And what are they all doing? And then are there multiple workflows? Sometimes you'll start one and you'll realize, I don't know, you needed something different about it, and you'll clone it and you'll like work on it again. Then do you go back to the original and delete that when you're done?
Mhm.
Again, if you're done playing with it, making sure that stuff gets deleted. For the 300, I'd love to know like what I would put them into, like what are they all doing? Like, was it easy to bucket them?
They actually, the good thing about them is they're pretty simple. I haven't found a ton of like mega workflows, if you will, which is, I think, part of why there's so many is because each of them do have like a single purpose.
Okay.
So that makes it a little easier.
That's a great question. When you have something where you have like branches and you've got branches on branches, do you like to have one big mega workflow? Like, say it's like to update an original source. Do you like to have those all in one workflow so that you have a short list of workflows, but it's more complicated once you dig into it? Or do you like to have 20 copy and paste workflows that are all sort of doing the same thing? But like
George B. Thomas convinced me a couple years ago the short workflow methodology. So I still kind of lean there. I'm a little inconsistent. And sometimes it's hard because, like, especially lead assignment workflows are like one of the major ones that get like really carried away really quickly, because you're assigning leads, then you're assigning tasks, and then you might be doing like other things like property updates and other things. I personally like to have one like lead assignment workflow. So I'll do the branch on who it should get assigned to. And then under that branch, I'll do like if they get a task or anything like that. Lead source, or you mentioned like a custom original source. I like to break those out. Like I'll have one original source workflow for organic, and then I'll drill down into what that means. One for paid social, or and so on. That I don't do that as a mega workflow. Mostly, I think that gets too mega, but I also would break that out from my lead assignment workflow. Like I would have those be two separate processes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've done it both ways. And as I've grown, I think keeping it simpler is better. And that's, again, where the naming convention, if you've got 20 workflows that are basically doing the same thing, but one's assigning it to me and one's assigning it to you, as long as they're named the same and in a folder together and you can see that like these all go together, I think that's better, because when something breaks and you have to like zoom in and zoom out and scroll over here, and it's really hard to like figure out where the error is happening if you if your workflow is too big.
I agree, and that's generally my thought process too. Is it's going to break at some point, and then it's much harder to figure out why they didn't get the right assignment if you have this mega workflow and they went through 10 other steps before, versus just looking at the end or the beginning, like just a one, like did they get enrolled in that workflow? That's kind of the problem, versus did they, why didn't they end up on this path at the bottom?
Yeah, totally. I've seen that exact same thing.
Yeah. All right. We're coming up on time. Did you have any final thoughts? Did we catch everything on your list?
I would just say document.
Yeah.
Naming conventions, buckets, and throw out those old jeans. They're not going to fit you. I'm really sorry.
I think that's a really good thing, though. Like, I think a lot of times you get into a new portal and you're asking for these documents and they don't exist. And then you're just like, well, now I don't know what to do. Instead of being like, okay, these documents don't exist, I'm going to start creating them.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. All
this
right.
has
Well,
been so great. Thank you so much for having me. This is really fun. I hope I can come back soon.
yes,
You'll
thank
have me.
you. Yeah, thank you so much. Huge thanks to Margaret for walking us through her setup flow and what she focuses on first. If you're watching and thinking, wait, I have been skipping that, or I've never thought to check that first, same. That's the beauty in the series. If you've got tips of your own or want to hop on and share what you do first in a portal, shoot me a DM. I'd love to keep the convo going. And if you want to catch up on past episodes, they're all up at caseycohub.com/setup. Setup is one word. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.
New portal, where do you begin? Click around or dive right in. What's the first thing that you do? We're learning from the pros, sharing it with you. Setup secrets, come and see. What's the trick to HubSpot harmony? Tune in